But if they can't clearly articulate what problem they solve and who they solve it for, then there's a complete lack of direction of the business. And so that alignment about what the company does, who it does it for, and how it's going to develop itself in the marketplace needs to be done before you even get to the question of investment. And in the conditions under which angels invest, it's actually a very broad canvas about the fact that they're going to be accountable, there's going to have to be proper reporting systems, there's going to be a whole bunch of decisions they will not be able to make by themselves, there's going to be intervention, there's going to be none of this making up the decision in the shower before you come to work and implementing it, and all that goes. And so setting the right set of expectations about what angel investment means for the entrepreneur, for the managers and for the existing shareholders is an essential part of ensuring that you have a journey where everybody's got agreement. So it's not just about valuation and it's not just about exit, it's about the whole domain of how we work together and what's the role of the angel in this particular venture, or what's the role of the other angel investors in this particular venture, and how are we all going to work together. So if we want satisfied angels and we want satisfied entrepreneurs, then setting the right set of expectations at the outset ensures that we drive towards an outcome that everyone agrees on, and that providing we do reasonably well on meeting that outcome, then we have a whole bunch of satisfied people.
I really like the alignment value chain. The fact that alignment appears in a number of places in the journey of the company, and how to anticipate and deal with that and some of the consequences. Tell me about some of the tools and techniques to formalise alignment. So we're starting to engage with an entrepreneur. We're looking to invest in a business as angel investors. We've discussed alignment, in principle. How can you sort of legally back yourself? What could you put into an agreement to help enforce alignment?
Well, there's a sort of smorgasbord of things you can throw in there, but I don't think any of the things you throw in there actually create alignment themselves. They're just a smorgasbord of options that you have available to you if misalignment occurs, which is a really subtle but pretty relevant point as part of the equation. So, and they will come from and around your veto rights, your representation rights, your board composition, what your reverse vesting for founders, lockups for founders and things like that. But the reality is it doesn't beat the front end conversation that Tom's talking about, and having that open and frank discussion around alignment. And the reality is, on these deals, when you do negotiate with people, if they are upfront and honest, it's generally going to be a good indicator as to how they're going to carry themselves going forward into life in the company. If they are raising issues that everything's a deal breaker and everything's a showstopper, as a general rule, that's the way life's going to be going forward. So you've got to probably have a good question and ask yourself a pretty serious and hard question at the front end of, will I ever get alignment with this person?
I tend to steer away from anyone who's got to develop a growth business to get value. And that's really why I prefer the strategic exits, because I've often sat in a room of entrepreneurs, particularly high-tech entrepreneurs, and I've said, now the one piece of advice I've got to give you is do not grow. And they'll all look at me and I'll say, do not grow. Because actually growth usually doesn't add value to strategic exit. It's what you do with the product and how you structure the business at the point of exit that creates all the value. But getting 10 more customers or 20 more customers or another distributor actually doesn't add any value to a company that's 3,000 times your size. They've already got all that. They don't need that from you. What you've got to do is you've got to deliver a product. And that being the case, you actually can get out of a lot of these problems, because the path from where you are to the exit is actually much more manageable, and you tend to have less, you trip over less, and so you can keep it on track better. Thanks. The question is the difference between a financial exit and a strategic exit. So a financial exit is a classic EBIT multiple type exit. Basically it means that the company that you are buying organically is going to produce the revenue and profit that you are investing in. The difference between that and a strategic exit is that the company you're buying is going to contribute something to your corporation, which you're going to exploit on a very large scale through your own customer base and your own channels. I mean, if you want to have a really good feeling for it, think of a half dozen guys in white coats in a laboratory that are developing a drug that have no revenue and no profit, and a pharmaceutical company will come along and buy them for, you know, $50 to $200 million. So from a financial point of view, there's no EBIT to multiply because it's all negative. But yet it has huge value to a company that's got the capacity and the capability to exploit it on a very large scale.